Hi, I'm Cindi McGee, and you're watching Polymer Clay TV. Today I'm sharing how to create this shimmering metallic peacock feather veneer. Let's get started. For the base of the veneer, I'm using Primo's Antique Gold Clay, which I conditioned and rolled in the clay machine to a setting number 4. For all the silk screening, I'm using my peacock feather silk screen from Create Along, and I just determined which feather I wanted to use for this particular project. I started by silk screening with a metallic gold paint, randomly entirely over that surface of the rolled clay sheet. Between each silkscreen application, I did wash my silkscreen just to make sure that I wasn't getting any paint dried in it, and I let each feather dry so that I didn't smear them. I continued the process until I had covered the surface of that sheet randomly with those gold feathers. The next layer of silk screening is going to just overlap that base layer, and for this layer I'm using 3 different shades of metallic paints. I'm using DecoArt's Extreme Sheen and Dazzling Metallics paints, and you can see I've got a turquoise and a beautiful cobalt blue and a metallic green. I just added a small dot of each color next to each other, sort of at the top of the silkscreen image. And then I used my squeegee to drag those 3 colors of paint over the silkscreen space. I want all of the colors to show in the silkscreened image. As I did with the gold feathers, I did wash the silkscreen between the application of each feather and just randomly covered the surface, overlapping those gold ones until it was entirely covered. Once that layer was completely dry, it was time to come back over the entire thing with another layer of silkscreened feathers in the gold paint. Again, let them overlap the base feathers. Now I'm going to select the part of the veneer I want to use for my first coin, and I'm using the 2.5-inch circle cutter to cut the top layer for the coin. I went ahead and removed the rest of the veneer for another project, and I just wanted you to be able to see how beautiful it is, how the light catches those different layers of metallic feathers. For the base, I rolled out more antique gold clay and cut it with that same cutter. I just lifted it off with the clay blade, and you can use your finger to clean up any rough edges that might be there once you've finished cutting it. And I placed that silkscreened coin on top of that base coin. You want to be sure to give it a good press and try to make sure that you don't have any air bubbles in there. For the outside edge of the coin, I've rolled a snake of the cobalt blue hue, Primo Sculpey, and I want to just wrap that around. But before I do, I like to twist the snake a bit. It kind of just gives it a little subtle texture that will highlight once it's baked. Once I had twisted the entire strand of clay, I just placed it around that coin and trimmed the edges and used my fingers to sort of blend where the two ends meet. Now, those of you that follow my work know that I'm sort of a dimension junkie. I love to add things for depth and texture. This veneer was sort of calling to me that it needed a little something else, and I went to my go-to product these days, and that is these hot fix ceramic cabochons from Create Along. I used 3 colors that again coordinated with the shades of the Peacock, and just decided how I wanted to sort of randomly place them. I did some clusters of 3 and some singles to fill in any little blank areas and just add a little more detail and depth to the finished veneer. Once I had them arranged how I liked, I gave them a gentle push just to kind of push them in place before it bakes, and then they will self-adhere. As always, the next step was to bake according to the manufacturer's instructions. Once it had baked and cooled, it was time to kind of highlight that little twisted edge that I made around the outside, and I'm using DecoArt's metallic luster. I chose the lavish green just because I thought it went well with the peacock theme, and just applied a light touch of it to that outer edge. You can see that it picks up that slight twist that we made in the clay before applying it around the disc. And here's a closer look at your finished metallic shimmering peacock feather veneer, ready to be made into polymer trading coins to swap with your friends. Join us on the Polymer Clay Tribe Facebook page for lots of inspiration and share your work, and also have a chance to join our upcoming Polymer Trading Coin Swap. Need more inspiration? Check out the Polymer Clay TV blog for tons of creative ideas.